The most well-known chess player ever was undoubtedly Bobby Fischer. His epic match against the Russian Boris Spassky created an international sensation like no chess event before it or since. Who could have known that this poor boy from Brooklyn would one day become one of the greatest players of all time? Probably not Donald Byrne, who played the white pieces in the game you're about to see. Fischer played this game so brilliantly that one grandmaster called it the game of the century. At the time, Fischer was only 13 years old. This move develops a piece and controls the central squares, the key to every chess game. Black prepares to develop his bishop on the longest diagonal on the board where it could seriously influence the central action. It's important to bring the king to safety by castling as early as possible. Bringing the queen out so soon is often a mistake. Now white is going to have to be very careful because black will want to attack the queen as much as possible. That move attacks white's queen with the knight. Notice how both sides have been carefully bringing out all their pieces and controlling the center as much as possible. You will see the same strategy in the first 10 moves of a million grandmaster games. But here's one you won't see too often. White makes the beginner's mistake of moving the same piece twice in the opening. This is normally done only after you have brought out all the other pieces and tucked your king safely behind pawns. White should have played the bishop to e2 and then castled. That's a spectacular move. Out of the blue, black attacks the white queen. You might be saying to yourself, can't Byrne just take it with his knight? Well, he didn't. But let's digress for a moment from the actual game and look to see what would have happened if he had taken the knight. Attacking the bishop and the queen. Now the queen is attacking the king, the knight, and the bishop. And white wouldn't dare play queen takes knight because black would rip off the queen. The young Fischer saw all this in his head, and to his credit, so did his opponent. Now let's get back to the actual game where Byrne decides to move his queen. Notice how many times the queen has had to move. This would not have happened if he had only kept his queen back from the beginning and developed the other pieces first. Black doesn't mind if white takes the rook, because then he could take the bishop and attack white's queen again. Another monster move. If white takes the knight with the queen, then black can attack the bishop with the rook. And the poor bishop can't run away because the white king would be in check. That move attacks the queen. Check. The king steps out of check, but now the rook in the corner can only dream of the day when it'll get into the fight. Now black's queen is under attack. Will he move it? Fischer gives away his queen. That's like giving away both legs in a karate fight. But watch what lightning-fast hands can do. The queen is gone. That's 9 whole points up in smoke. And all Fischer has in return is 1 measly point, the 1 free pawn he has already taken. Make that 4 points now that he's taken a bishop, which is worth 3 points. Plus, the white king is in check. Check. It's check again. Now that black has another pawn, he has 5 points for his 9-point queen. But it's not over yet because it is still check. The knight move discovered a check on the white king from black's bishop. Check. Another discovered check. Now black has 8 points for his 9-point queen. Not only that, he's attacking white's rook and white's queen. The worst part is that white cannot defend the rook by playing queen to c1. Why not? Well, let's take a look at the reason. It's check. The king must move. White can kiss the queen goodbye. So you see why white did not move the queen to c1. Let's go back to the actual game. This is mean chess. Fischer won't even give Byrne the chance to take his bishop. The queen has to move away again. White has a queen, but black has more pieces. And take a look at that rook on h1. It's pathetic. This knight must be stuffed after eating all those white pieces. And now it wants to take white's rook too. Wow, white finally got off a check. Big deal. He's begging to get just a teeny tiny pawn. Nope, you can't have it. Now Fischer finishes off the king with a series of devastating body blows. Check. 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 Checkmate. The game is over. 2 years after this game, Bobby Fischer would become the youngest grandmaster in chess history.